IP address berapa? Soalnya nge-lag tadi.
IT-nya udah peluang, Mas.
Aduh. Aman ya?
Insya Allah aman, Mas. Doain aja, Mas.
Siap.
Ntar ya, Mas.
Oke.
Bukalapak udah dapat tadi yang terakhir. Ya, satu lagi ngebuka nih. Bukalapak keluarnya kayak gimana?
Oke, teman-teman. Kita akan mulai sebentar lagi jam berapa sekarang?
Udah 7.16.
Oke, siap. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Mama, ini gimana? Nggak bisa full screen.
Kami sudah ada bulanan sendiri yang sudah
Ini ada orang ngomong terus, aku pusing. Udah mulai?
Tolong mute semua dulu, mute.
Peserta udah boleh masuk?
Bentar. Dinda, tolong jalanin bumpernya semua. Gua akan share juga di sini. TVC, kita coba TVC lagi.
Gue matiin WhatsApp gue ya.
Iya, jangan lupa mute semua ya, yang nggak ngomong ya.
Siap, di copy, Mas.
Peserta udah boleh masuk kah?
In 5 minutes, Dinda, gua akan mulai masukin TVC, kita tes fit TVC ulang baru ya.
Ini baru gladi dulu ya?
Iya, bentar.
Oke.
3, 2, 1.
Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak, kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan. Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak, kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan.
Ayo, masukin semuanya.
Mas.
Halo.
Mas Adi. Udah hilang ya?
Di WA aja mas. Saya WA. Teleponnya.
Aku ngomong apa?
Itu.
Mas. Gimana?
Itu udah mulai belum mas?
Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan. Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan. Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan. Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan.
Selamat malam teman-teman semua. Terima kasih sudah berpartisipasi kembali dalam acara Zoom Live malam ini. Hari ini kita akan ngobrol tentang New York Marathon yang akan diwakilkan oleh Vice President New York Roadrunner yaitu Ted Metellus. Saya akan bacakan sedikit background dari Ted nantinya. Tapi sebelum kita memulai webinar ini, saya akan memberitahukan beberapa aturan selama acara berlangsung. Pastikan speaker peserta dalam keadaan menyala. Untuk pengalaman webinar yang maksimal, aktifkan mode gallery view dan full screen di aplikasi Zoom Anda. Mic peserta secara otomatis akan di-off dan hanya bisa dinyalakan oleh admin. Untuk bertanya, peserta menggunakan fitur obrolan yang terdapat di bagian bawah layar. Apabila peserta mengalami kendala teknis selama webinar berlangsung, gunakan fitur raise hand untuk mendapatkan bantuan dari admin kami. Dan jangan lupa, segera membuat ID Anda di Bukalapak untuk mendapatkan 5 voucher sebesar masing-masing Rp250.000. And I will repeat in English. Make sure all participants have their microphone mute. To get the best webinar experience, please turn on gallery view and enter full screen mode on Zoom. All of the participant microphone will be automatically mute and only the host can unmute it. For question, participants can use the chat feature at the bottom of the screen. Let's have a look at the biography of Ted Metellus. Ted Metellus adalah Vice President of Event and Technical Director of TCS New York City Marathon, tepatnya di New York Roadrunners. Ted Metellus sudah berpengalaman lebih dari 20 tahun di event production industry and has a diverse professional background which is include marketing, PR, and large-scale charitable and participatory events. Sebelumnya di New York Roadrunners, Ted sendiri sudah bekerja di US Road Sport Entertainment Group, Philadelphia Triathlon, competitor group Ironman, and dimulai dari tahun 2018 sampai sekarang, Ted sendiri bekerja di New York Roadrunners. Itu adalah sebagian rangkaian mengenai bintang tamu kita malam ini. Tapi sebelum kita memulai sesi dengan Ted Metellus, saya ada surprise untuk teman-teman semua. Malam ini kita ada 2 tamu yang sudah tidak asing lagi, tentunya di dunia pelarian di Indonesia, yaitu Aprilia Sihombing dan Silvano Rumantir. Mbak Aprilia dan Mas Silvano sendiri sudah pernah berlari di New York Marathon, dan nggak malu-malu hasilnya sangat luar biasa, bagus banget. Kenapa saya bilang bagus? Karena semua kita tahu bahwa New York Marathon bukanlah race yang mudah ditaklukkan. Jadi mari kita dengar dari kesan dan pesan dari Mbak Aprilia dan Mas Silvano. Selamat malam Mbak Aprilia dan Mas Silvano.
Ya, selamat malam Mbak Rina.
Selamat malam.
Halo,
Coach
thank
Rina.
you ya, thank you udah mau kasih waktunya dan sharingnya malam ini untuk kita semua. Kita mulai ngobrol-ngobrol dikit ya Mbak ya. Saya mulai dengan Mbak Aprilia. Mbak Aprilia, boleh tahu nggak sejak kapan mulai berani mengikuti maraton?
Sejak 2012, berarti 8 tahun ya.
Wow, udah lama ya?
Udah.
Sudah berapa lama baru berani mengikuti maraton?
Waktu itu baru 7 bulan lari, terus karena lomba maraton kan di Indonesia tuh jarang banget. Jadi pas ada ya maksain diri.
Oh,
Daripada nggak ada lagi kan, pikirnya gitu dulu.
First maratonnya di mana Mbak Aprilia?
Di Bali Marathon.
Oh, di Bali Marathon. Kalau Mas Silvano, mulai hobi lari sejak kapan Mas?
Mulai maraton 2014, Coach.
2004. Di maraton pertama tuh, di mana pertama kali?
Di Amsterdam.
Oh, itu nice flat ya?
Itu ya very flat, cuma karena maraton pertama ya berat banget rasanya.
Masih malu-malu?
Sampai sekarang juga masih malu-malu sih.
Lalu ini nih, kita tahu semua bahwa Mbak Lia dan Mas Silvano sudah ikut New York Marathon ya. Itu kapan ya? Tahun berapa Mas Silvano sama Mbak Lia?
2019 kayaknya bareng ya Mas.
Ya, saya juga tahun lalu.
Oh, baru tahun kemarin dong?
Ya.
Oh, oke. Terus boleh tahu nggak bagaimana kesan yang didapatkan dari New York Marathon sampai sekarang, dari sejak kalian berdua tuh menginjakan kaki di JFK, lalu ke pengalaman ke RPC dan race day, boleh nggak di-sharing sama kita semua malam ini? Kita mulai dari Mas Silvano, boleh?
Oke, boleh. Jadi kalau bisa diringkas tuh perasaannya deg-degan terus ya. Deg-degan terus karena itu New York Marathon kan. Setahu saya itu salah satu atau mungkin yang terbesar. Jadi dari pertama kali mendarat sampai ke Expo, ngambil race pack, sampai lari easy run 1-2 hari sebelum race, itu deg-degan terus. Jadi senang tapi campur deg-degan karena kita kan nggak tahu hasilnya seperti apa pada hari race day. Kalau Mbak Lia sendiri?
Kalau saya deg-degan dan kedinginan karena saya nggak tahan dingin.
Emang dingin ya tahun 2019 emang, tapi katanya perfect weather for the race.
Ya, waktu race sih oke, cuma pas sampai itu pas hujan dan pagi-pagi kan kita sampainya. Jadi ya excited, kedinginan, terus ya amazed gitu lihat respect collection-nya tuh besar banget. Terus rame dan kayaknya semua orang happy aja gitu. Walaupun kurang tidur.
Terus lalu saya ada nih pertanyaan yang untuk Mas Silvano sama Mbak Lia ya. Ini mungkin bukan cuma di saya aja sih. Kan banyak tuh kalau kita terima email from New York Marathon, ada beberapa opsi yang diberikan untuk transportasi ke race village-nya. Kalau Mbak Lia sendiri bagaimana pendapatnya?
Transportasi ke race village?
Maksud saya dari hotel masing-masing, apakah mengambil ferry atau mengambil bus, itu ada advice nggak untuk teman-teman runners Indonesia?
Pada waktu kemarin sih saya pakai bis. Sebetulnya bis memang lama duduknya aja sih, karena kalau di ferry kita bisa jalan-jalan kan, jadi kaki nggak kelipet. Nah itu aja sih yang agak lama, karena kan saking banyaknya itu peserta kan, bisnya itu tuh untuk turun aja tuh antri gitu, antrinya lumayan panjang. Tapi karena waktu itu saya pilih waktunya pagi, jadi mungkin nggak terlalu antri banget. Kita pagi-pagi banget sih.
Problem nggak Mbak Lia dengan waktu yang pagi-pagi banget yang harus berangkat ke race village, sedangkan race-nya sendiri dimulai jam 10 lebih ya, tergantung wave-nya ya.
Iya sih, lama tapi ya udah jalanin aja, dan dingin banget di sana, jadi benar-benar lapis-lapis semua bajunya.
Kalau
Iya, masalah.
Kalau Coach Silvano?
Waktu itu kan dikasih pilihan kan sebelum race mau ngambil bus atau mau ngambil ferry. Waktu itu karena nanya ke beberapa teman-teman yang udah pernah ke New York Marathon, akhirnya mutusin ngambil ferry. Dan ya ternyata memang enak, jadi bisa naik Uber ke ferry terminalnya, lalu di ferry pun kalau nggak salah cuma setengah jam paling lama, bisa sambil lihat pemandangan, tapi nggak bisa terlalu menikmati juga karena deg-degan dan dingin, masih pagi. Tapi semua yang di ferry itu memang mau ke starting line ya, mau ke race village. Jadi semuanya tuh kayaknya mungkin suasana batinnya sama kali ya yang di kapal itu. Dan waktu sampai sudah ada bus, kita ngantri naik bus ke race village. Dan di race village waktu itu saya kalau nggak salah masih ada sekitar 1 jam, jadi sangat cukup untuk relax dulu, untuk pemanasan dulu, ngantri toilet dan lain-lain.
Jadi dari rekomen dari Mas Silvano sama Mbak Lia itu kayaknya lebih bagus ngambil ferry ya, sepertinya ya.
Banget, kalau saya sangat rekomen ngambil ferry. Dan mungkin jangan lupa juga tergantung cuacanya pakai jaket yang tua. Jadi kalau bisa dari Jakarta udah bawa jaket yang rela dibuang lah gitu, jaket yang tua banget atau selimut yang tua banget. Jadi sambil nunggu kan dingin, jadi masih bisa dipakai sampai start.
Oke, so teman-teman Indonesia pelari Indonesia yang akan mau berlari di New York Marathon di masa depan, bisa diikutin tuh tipsnya dari Mas Silvano bahwa kayaknya kalau ada opsi ambil bus atau ferry, lebih baik ambil ferry karena waktunya nggak terlalu banyak terbuang. Seperti itu ya Mas Silvano ya, Coach Silvano. Nah untuk ada lagi nih yang salah satu yang banyak dipertanyakan juga sama seluruh peserta New York Marathon. Itu ada 2 opsi setelah kita menyelesaikan race, ada 2 opsi untuk penitipan tas atau mengambil ponco. Kalau Mbak Lia bagaimana?
Kalau saya penitipan tas, jadi saya lebih prefer bawa baju ganti karena pasti baju itu kan basah sampai dalam-dalam ya. Jadi ganti baju, dan di penitipan tas itu saya masih bisa taruh selimut, jaket buat double-double, jadi lebih anget sih.
Tapi kan jalannya jauh, Mbak.
Iya, dan ganti bajunya di taman. Karena udah jauh banget.
Kadang-kadang itu yang suka dipertanyakan sama teman-teman, ini bagusnya apa sih? Maksudnya we do the deposit bag or we just take the poncho or something like that. Kalau Mas Vano sendiri bagaimana?
Kalau saya waktu itu justru ngambil yang ponco, opsi ponco, karena kebetulan hotelnya nggak deket-deket amat dari finish line, dari Central Park, tapi bisalah jalan gitu ya. Jadi milihnya ngambil ponco, bukan penitipan barang, dan ponco itu bagus banget, ponconya tebel, karena habis kita race itu mungkin nggak sampai 15 menit badan udah dingin lagi, dan kalau New York kan cuacanya nggak ketebak ya, jadi dengan adanya ponco itu jadi kayak kita pakai selimut, jadi sekalian kenang-kenangan juga.
Jadi ngebantu juga ya Coach Vano ya untuk dapat ponco, maksudnya nggak terlalu sengsara dinginnya.
Ngebantu banget karena nggak lama setelah kita finish tuh badan langsung dingin karena udah lumayan sore ya, sore setelah lunchtime kalau nggak salah. Jadi ngebantu banget, jadi kayak pakai selimut, ponconya tuh ponco tebel.
Oh ya, bisa disimpan juga ya, bawa pulang ya, kenang-kenangan.
Betul.
Terus ini kan kita biasa ya setelah berlari di satu maraton itu tentunya maraton di New York itu kan berbeda daripada yang lain. Apresiasi apa yang didapatkan dari New York Road Runners kepada semua runners di New York Marathon termasuk Mas Silvano sama Mbak Lia? Kita terserah mau Mbak Lia duluan jawab atau Mas Vano. Mungkin Mbak Lia ya.
Silakan Mbak Lia dulu.
Sorry, apa ya tadi? Appreciate apa?
Maksudnya gini, kita tuh merasa ada apresiasi yang diberikan oleh New York Residents-nya, New York Roadrunners, dan komitenya seluruhnya dari awal sampai akhir, kita mulai dari maraton sampai selesai ke finish line.
Ya semuanya ramah-ramah banget sih. Terus perhatian banget karena waktu itu agak telat ngambil apa sih emergency blanket, kan mereka ada yang kasih itu ada yang ngasihin gitu. Terus ya banyak volunteernya aja sih mereka, jadi nggak kebingungan gitu, udah capek kan kadang-kadang suka bengong nih kemana gitu.
Oh ya?
Jadi ada yang ya selalu ada yang oh iya sini gitu, ada yang ngarahin lah.
So you don't get lost ya during the.
Nah biasanya kan bengong kemana ya ini anak hilang.
Kalau Coach Silvano bagaimana, Coach Vano?
Ya, setuju banget sama Mbak Lia. Volunteernya di mana-mana, khususnya kan kita, saya karena waktu itu baru pertama kali New York Marathon, nggak tahu mau expect apa di starting line kan. Starting line-nya gede banget, banyak sekali zone-nya, wave-nya banyak, koralnya banyak. Jadi ya senang aja ngelihat banyak volunteer pakai seragam NYRR gitu ya, NYRR di mana-mana. Kalau bingung tinggal nanya. Lalu pas kita udah finish kan udah setengah-setengah zombie tuh rasanya. Jadi ngelihat yang pakai seragam biru, NYRR, kita jadi tenang lah gitu. Kalau bingung tinggal nanya dikit pakai body language, sudah dikasih tahu, oh arahnya ke sini gitu. Jadi nolong banget NYRR, nolong banget. Jadi kita merasa diapresiasi ya sama dari awal sampai akhir ya, sama seluruh volunteer. Tuh, dan ditepukin, dibilang well done, congratulations ya kan. Jadi ya benar-benar kayak di welcome banget gitu loh. Kita jadi ngerasa New Yorker hari itu. Oh ya, wow. So that we are talking about the experience during the race day in New York Marathon. Satu lagi nih, Mbak April ya dan Mas Silvano. Ada nggak tips dan trik dari Mbak Lia sama Mas Silvano untuk semua Indonesian runners yang akan mengikuti maraton di luar negeri? Nggak terkecuali, maksudnya maraton di mana saja. Gimana Mbak Lia duluan yang mulai?
Mas Silvano deh.
Saya sebenarnya masih belajar juga sih, cuma dari beberapa maraton yang saya ikuti, mungkin lesson learn-nya yang pertama adalah harus latihan, harus prepare. Karena nggak semua orang terlahir bisa lari 42 kilo tanpa latihan. Dan apalagi kalau kita sampai mau keluar negeri, artinya kan banyak yang investasinya nggak kecil ya, investasi waktu, investasi biaya, tenaga. Nah, jadi kita kalau mau maraton sampai keluar negeri, inginnya enjoy. Nah, supaya kita enjoy, nggak menderita, mendingan latihan. Ya kan, ya dengan porsi masing-masing, sesuai target masing-masing. Jadi mungkin yang pertama adalah harus well prepared, harus latihan. Supaya kan kita finishnya nggak mau langsung teler gitu kan, finishnya mau bisa enjoy gitu kan. Dan yang kedua mungkin jangan mencoba sesuatu yang baru pada saat maraton, baik itu sepatu, baik itu baju maupun makanan ya, karena nggak lucu aja kalau tiba-tiba kita nyoba karena saking excitednya datang ke kota baru, nyoba makanan yang kita nggak biasa makan, terus sakit perut pas lari, waduh bisa buyar tuh maratonnya. Jadi mungkin 2 itu kali, Coach.
Kalau Mbak Lia sendiri?
Saya selain yang 2 tadi Mas Silvano bilang, kasih waktu spare dari sampai ke hari H-nya gitu, karena biar badan adjust, apalagi kalau ada perbedaan waktu dan lain-lainnya, jangan mepet-mepet sampainya gitu. Kayak ke Jogja jangan. Terus satu lagi jangan lupa yang seperti kita pernah obrolin, jangan lupa sediakan travel insurance. Jadi kalau ada apa-apa udah ada yang cover kita lah gitu. Karena
Itu penting banget ya.
ya kalau US mungkin karena visanya salah satu syaratnya harus ada travel insurance, mungkin semua punya, tapi kalau Asia kadang-kadang dulu pun saya pergi aja gitu tanpa mikir kesananya.
Mungkin karena kita mulai belajar culture negara masing-masing ya, seperti nggak semua maraton di dunia ini mempunyai extra budget untuk peserta jika terjadi apa-apa. Ya itu mungkin ini ada tips dan trik yang menurut saya sangat berguna ya untuk semua teman-teman pelari Indonesia yang akan berlari dimanapun. Jadi salah satunya yang seperti tadi Mas Vano bilang adalah marathon is not a joke, jadi harus prepare dari mental maupun fisik. Juga dengan jangan coba-coba makan yang baru-baru, mendingan selama di sana makan yang udah biasa aja ya Coach ya. Dan juga jangan lupa asuransi. Itu sebelum ada budget belanja, kayaknya kita mesti pikirin budget asuransinya. Nah, satu hal lagi nih yang paling penting untuk kalian berdua, saya mau tanya banget nih. Saya kan tahu kalian berdua tuh sangat sibuk ya dengan pekerjaan maupun traveling kemana-mana dari yang dituntut dari pekerjaan kalian. Juga untuk dengan keluarga. Itu gimana ya caranya supaya bisa menjaga kondisi dan stamina sehari-hari, juga latihan yang hasilnya seperti kalian miliki, yang menurut saya sih wow gitu loh. Kayaknya dari Mbak Lia, ayo Mbak Lia. Mbak Lia ini salah satu perempuan Indonesia yang berlari di maraton dengan hasil yang sangat memuaskan.
Kebetulan.
Enggak lah, tidak ada kebetulan Mbak.
Bagi waktu sih sampai sekarang sebetulnya belum bisa bagi waktu betul gitu. Pasti nggak tahu kenapa jodoh mungkin ya, pekerjaan sama jadwal maraton tuh kadang-kadang makin dekat jadwal maraton pekerjaannya makin numpuk. Saya sih paling ambil kadang-kadang kalau memang capek banget, saya lebih baik istirahat di rumah, nggak pergi latihan. Gitu. Itu aja sih, jadinya istirahatnya lebih banyak biar fisiknya fit waktu hari H. Jangan karena kita maksa, oh harus selesai menu latihan, malah pas hari H kita ya amit-amit cedera atau malah drop gitu.
Oh gitu ya Mbak Lia ya? Jadi nggak
ya.
Kita harus istilahnya mesti sadar diri juga ya kalau misalnya kondisi lagi nggak fit karena traveling atau apa, jadi kita bisa adjust dengan kondisi latihannya.
Iya, so far sih lebih baik trainingnya memang nggak 100%, tapi kita nggak kecapean gitu. Karena kan badan harus fit banget itu untuk 42 kilo, apalagi New York tanjakannya Masya Allah.
Kalau Mas Vano gimana Mas Vano?
Ya sebenarnya selalu setiap mau maraton pasti struggling ya latihannya. Jarang banget bisa benar-benar sesuai rencana. Jadi mungkin lesson learn-nya adalah mungkin kalau biasanya misalnya kita udah prepare 16 minggu gitu untuk maraton, mungkin bikin lebih lama, 20 minggu supaya ada spare. Karena kan kesibukan kadang-kadang kita nggak bisa duga. Jadi selama kita bisa nyicil latihan itu kan nyicil muscle memory ya. Jadi semakin kita punya banyak spare waktu, ya mudah-mudahan muscle memorinya yang dibutuhkan untuk maraton jadi cukup pada saat hari hanya. Saya setuju banget sama Mbak Lia juga mengenai istirahat ya. Nah, menurut saya istirahat, tidur itu bagian dari latihan. Sama mungkin ya sebisa mungkin ada bukan komunitas, kalau kita bisa punya beberapa teman-teman yang latihan bareng atau bahkan berangkat maraton bareng, itu jadi nggak seberat kalau kita latihan sendiri gitu.
Bisa share stresnya ya Mas Vano ya?
Betul share stresnya.
Yang sama-sama tahu ini ya, penderitaan sebelum race.
Betul.
Terima kasih Mbak Aprilia Sihombing dan Mas Silvano Rumantir untuk waktu dan cicetnya malam ini. Pastinya informasi dari kalian akan berguna untuk Indonesian runners yang ingin mencoba berlari di New York Marathon maupun maraton manapun. Jadi teman-teman semuanya take a notes ya yang tadi disampaikan sama Mas Silvano Rumantir dan Mbak Lia Sihombing, apa aja yang harus dipersiapkan sebelum maraton dan secara fisik, mental maupun mungkin bisa mulai sharing sama teman-teman yang mana mau berangkat bareng-bareng atau segala itu bisa lebih rileks untuk kitanya. Okay, now before we go to our session with Ted Metelus, let's take a 1-minute break and then we coming back with Ted.
Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan. Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan. Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan. Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan. Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan. Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan.
Udah, Mbak. Oke. Hey, we're coming back. We're back. Good morning, Ted. We are very honored to have you here with us today. How are you doing? Ted Metelus, you are there?
I'm here.
Oh, hi, how are you? Mbak, itu dia di mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Rena, thank you so very much for having me. Thank you, everybody, for having me. I really appreciate it. It is almost 9 o'clock in the morning here in New York. Today is June 3rd, and June 3rd is what we celebrate as Global Running Day.
Yay!
So, this is very global. The world
exactly. We are from, many Indonesian runners here, and we are very happy to have you here.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so very much for having me. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Ted, I have been reading your biography and learned about your many experience in the sport industry. Did you also participate in race other than marathons?
Yes, yes. I have, you see in my resume there, just a little bit of a touch of things. I've been fortunate enough to work not only in running, in marathons, but also in triathlon. Also been involved with some other types of charity events like walks and bike events for charity. I've also been involved in that. And I had a little bit of time working in marketing and PR events as well, because these are all coming together to create the experience that we have in marathoning and what we do here at New York Road Runners.
Okay, so I would like to know, how many marathons have you run in your life?
I have run 2 marathons in my life. And both of them were in New York.
Okay.
My first marathon was in 2008, and my second marathon was 2013. And I still run. I was running this morning.
Okay.
So I went out this morning early and ran, and I don't run very many marathons anymore. It's a little too much on the body for me, especially in my age, and I'm a big guy, but I still run half marathons. So I've run about 31 half marathons.
Okay, that's a lot anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ted, we are very impressed by New York Roadrunners history. Would you please share with us some of the history of New York Roadrunners?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is great. It's fantastic you have the presentation here. So, everyone, thank you so very much for your time. Just to give you a little bit of a background of my involvement with New York Roadrunners. I used to work at Roadrunners many years ago as an event manager. My first marathon that I worked on was in 2001. Which was the year of the same, actually 2 months after 9/11. So that was my first time working the marathon and being with the team there. I've worked on approximately 13 marathons as a staff person, a contractor, and now back again as a full-time staff member. I've been with the organization. I left and then came back, and I've been now with the organization for about 2 years. And I'm the vice president of events and technical director. So I work closely with Jim Heim, who is the race director, and Michael, who's the president and CEO. And they both send their regards. Rita, Jim says hello. Here in front of you, everyone, is a little bit of the of what our organization is. Any organization, any team has many folks that work together to create and build the experience. We have a very big team because we produce very big events. The New York City Marathon is the largest marathon in the world with close to 53,000 runners. We also produce events year-round on our calendar. So we'll produce approximately 60 adult races, and we have approximately 75 youth events. And all the youth events that we do are all free for all the kids here in the New York metro area. So as you see here, we produce, the number of events. We have about 300,000 finishers so far. This year, it is going to be a year with it being the 50th anniversary, 50th running of the marathon. We not only have our own organization, which is a nonprofit organization, but we work with a number of different nonprofits as well. And you see there the many different departments that help in the planning, execution, and day-to-day activities at New York Roadrunners that are listed in front of you.
Next slide.
So I know everyone here would like to talk a little bit about how New York Marathon started, the New York City Marathon, TCS New York City Marathon started, and its growth. So I'll give you a little bit of a snapshot over 50 years of running with the marathon and some of the pictures here. So what you see here in front of you are two of the photos, which are pretty iconic. One of the first ones where the marathon was only in Central Park, and they only ran the loops inside the Central Park. So that's one of the pictures there of one of the very first marathons. You see two small children holding a finish line. Very simple. Everyone there crowding together and cheering on the runner as he's coming in. And then to the right, you have a photo of the New York City Marathon when Shalane Flanagan finished. And you see how much it grows. So for those who have children or have a family or have nieces and nephews, the little baby grows and grows into the potential, and what you give that child, that life, is what it gives back to the world. And as you see there in the marathon, it started with a very small event and grew into something big and beautiful. Next slide, please. So quickly here, folks, is a little bit of the history of New York Roadrunners. I don't want to go into too many details on all the dates there, as you can see, but there's a couple that I'd like to call out. So the New York Roadrunners, the organization, started in 1958 as a small run club with about 40 members that were here in the New York area that ran and wanted to get active and in the running community. And then as the club grew, the number of people started to grow and the interest in running, and races were happening all over the city, all over the community it ran. In 1970, Fred Lebow, if you've ran the marathon, you see the statue for Fred at the finish line. So Fred Lebow, along with Vince Chapetta, decided we should have a marathon here. Just like other major cities had a marathon, we should have a marathon here in New York. And the race was only in Central Park. And there was 127 people that registered for the very first New York City Marathon. And there were 55 people that finished. And just to see how much time has changed when you had in 1970, 127 start, 55 finished, and they paid $1 to register to run to the race. Very different now. 53,000 people finishing, paying a little bit more than $1. As you see there on the timeline, as the event grew, the organization grew, the city grew, but also running started to grow. And running grew not only here in New York, but in America and worldwide. As we started, today's Global Running Day, and the world is out running, being active. We have, our family and team here in Indonesia that are talking about their running experience. So the race continued to grow and grow over time. So through the 70s and the 80s, the marathon continued to get bigger and bigger. There were professional runners that came and participated, as well as, normal runners like me and you that came out to run and challenge themselves and be engaged with the sport of running. They also got engaged with the charitable elements that are tied to it. So running for a cause. So this went on throughout the years here. Some other bigger highlights that you'll see is during the 1990s, as the marathon continued to grow, Fred Lebow, our founder and starter of the marathon, had cancer. And he was diagnosed with brain cancer in the 1990s. So he was going under chemotherapy and care to try to get better. And he decided he wanted to run the marathon. So in 1992, he ran the marathon, finishing the marathon in 5 hours and 32 minutes, which is almost as fast as how I run. And he finished the race there, and it was an incredible feat there. Unfortunately, on October 9th, 1994, Fred passed away, just 4 weeks before the 25th running of the marathon. Oh, wow. So, it was a rather powerful, moment there for the race. And Fred stays in our hearts always with all the events that we produce. So again, as the race continued to grow, the number of people that participated in the event grew, and the engagement in the event started to grow as well. You'll see there in the 2000s, we included a wheelchair division. So participants in wheelchairs started to participate in our events on a professional and age group level. The other thing too is the engagement with sponsors and partners. So I remember the first year that ING came on board as the title sponsor of the marathon. And it was a very unique opportunity, because that's when the larger industry and the larger business started to recognize the sport of running and the engagement of running, people coming together for running. So this was happening in 2003, and in 2006, the New York City Marathon joined the World Marathon Majors, so which is Berlin, Boston, Chicago, London, Tokyo. So they all joined in as part of the big races. There are many people who run all of the World Marathon Majors. So they call them the 6-star finishers, which is amazing and impressive. So for many of you who might be on here, you either are a 6-star finisher or no 6-star finisher. So thank you. Next slide. So I'll quickly go through here, just touching on some of the great moments there through the, through the 2000s there, with the 40th running of the marathon in 2009. Some of the great finishers that we've had that have finished, so like Kozlowski, who won the marathon, was the first American in 27 years to win the marathon. So that was quite an accomplishment there to see that. I was actually at that race and I saw him finish, which was amazing. In 2012, some of you may know this, we had a huge storm here in New York, Hurricane Sandy, and it affected the event and unfortunately had to cancel the event due to a lot of damage in the New York area and not having the resources to be able to address those items there. So in the interest of safety, we ended up having to cancel that event. The following year in 2013, that's not listed there, is the second time I ran the marathon. And that was a huge field that was participating in the race that year. And just a couple other quick notes here to talk about some of the changes that we had and some of the partners that we had. So in 2014, Tata Consulting came on board as our title sponsor. The marathon was at the largest that it's ever been before with 50,000 runners. That year was the year that we celebrated 1 million finishers since the first marathon. So remember, we started at 55 finishers, and in 2014, we had over 50,000 finishers, which got us to...
That's amazing. That's amazing, yeah.
And over the next couple of years, we had some race director changes, going from Mary Wittenberg to Michael Caparasso and Peter Chacha, and now it's just Michael, who's now the president and CEO of our organization. In 2016, the marathon broke its own record with over 51,000 runners. In 2017, that was the photo that you saw on the other side with Shalane Flanagan being the first American woman to finish the marathon in 40 years. And last year, in 2019, we had 53,640 runners finishing. So the demand is strong, the engagement is strong, the connection is strong.
Next slide.
So just quickly, when I talked earlier about the teams that it takes us to produce the event, this is the team that I work with. These are the folks that work for me. So the events team, the experiential team, which handle the expo, the youth team that handle a lot of the youth elements that we have for our races, for our kids, the para-athletes, which is the wheelchair athletes, warehouse operation and signage, all of the different teams, volunteers, timing and scoring, the financial team, safety and security and medical. These are all the many different teams and departments that work together to make sure that we have a safe marathon, as well as all of the events that we produce year round are safe. Next slide, please. Here are some photos of some of the many events that we've. And so from the top left corner there, that is the finish for the Brooklyn Half Marathon. So that race there is in Coney Island in New York, in Brooklyn. So that race finishes right on the boardwalk there. We have the mini 10K, which is immediately to its right. That's an all-women's 10K race that we do. That race would be is going to be 40 years old in running. On the bottom is the Midnight Run. So that is a race that we do New Year's night in New York City. On the very bottom center, there's a photo from the New York City Half Marathon, which runs through Times Square and comes into Central Park. And in the bottom right corner there is two of our finishers from the Fifth Avenue Mile, another iconic event that we produce at Roadrunners. Next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you.
Next slide.
This is a great picture here to just show. Oh no, back up.
Yeah.
This is no. Go back to the blue page, the demographic page.
No, go back.
With the map. Excellent, perfect. So this is a great picture here because this shows the reach of the race. This is a great image to take a look at here closely to see the number of folks that we had participate in 2019. So 53,640 finishers, largest field of all time. Over 1 million spectators, so people watching all along the route, all throughout the city. The demographic split between men and women, 57% men, 42% women. The average pace of our finishers at 4 hours and 38 minutes, which is great to see. But the big thing here, especially when I'm talking to you, Raina, and everyone, is how big the international field is and how big the marathon is and how it engages with our larger community. So there's 141 countries that are represented in the marathon. And you see the breakdown there with 32% that live in just the New York area and 20% that are all over the United States, but 46% of our race field is from all over the world.
Wow. Next.
Slide. So what does it take for us to run through all 5 boroughs? Again, some of the pieces that work together. I made a note here. One thing that that's important is partnership, logistics, planning between city, state, and community. Having all of those teams work together, where to create your experience from the start, even before the start with the expo and transportation, many of the things you were talking about earlier, Reina, and some of our participants talked about bag dropping and having all of the resources that you need to have an enjoyable and safe experience there along the route. The race itself, the course, all the volunteers and the resources, police and support to help close and make sure that the roads are safe and everyone is safe on the roads. The finish line, when you're finished, the energy, the experience, when you cross, you get your medal, you get your food, you're walking over, you get your poncho. If you have a poncho, you get your bag, and then you go to family reunion to meet up with your family and friends there. So that's a huge partnership and a tremendous amount of coordination to engage these pieces. So next slide. So first thing, as I noted here, is the start experience. So our participants are taking a ferry or a bus to get to the start line. The race is a point-to-point, so it's not, so you go to one location in New York, in Staten Island, and you will run 26.2 miles to the finish line. But to get to the start line, you're either taking the ferries or the bus. The race starts at Fort Wadsworth. We work with our partners there and many of the agencies, and we run over a bridge. Over the Verrazano Bridge to start the event. Next. So the course of the race there, over 22 miles of the course run through New York City streets. As I noted, with the Verrazano is one of the 5 bridges that you run over. So if you are training to run New York, train for hills. This is a very hilly course, trust me. Again, I've ran it twice. I know the challenge. Our partners that we work with the city, police, fire, medical, transportation, Department of Sanitation. There's a lot of trash that gets created with 53,000 people. And we work with our teams to help clean everything up and get the roads reopened along the route there in the city. The closures start early, and we make sure that everything is clean and safe for our runners. And we make sure that we're following everybody from the very, very first runner to the very, very last runner. And when I get to the finish here, so the final finish of the course is in Central Park. So there are, it's a beautiful route there. Again, hilly. You get the climbs when you come into the park near the end there, but there will be all kinds of resources and services inside of Central Park to make sure that the runners are safe, our staff and volunteers are safe, spectators and partners are all safe inside of the park. We have a race command center. We have a medical center that's there. We have many partners that are there. So the finish line is the command center for the race as well, to communicate what's going on the start, the course, and the finish line, along with working with different agencies throughout the event as well. Next slide. So picture here, this is at the Javits Center in New York City. This is the expo. This is where you go and you pick up your packet and you get your shirt, and you can get all of the pre-race supplies that you need. You can see the other exhibitors from other races that are around. You can see other partners that are involved. So there's an amazing experience. This is open to the public. It's free. So people come in and see and learn about the marathon and all the partnership that we have with the marathon. Next slide. The photo next to it there is, there you go. So the photo you see there is the pavilion. So this is in Central Park. Again, this is a location that gets opened up early in the week. So we have all kinds of various activities that go on there, exhibits that go on there, so people could come by and see and experience the marathon. It is on race day, on marathon day, that turns into our media center. So all of the media and press are there, doing all of the stories and collecting all the information. And we have a small reception activity there. And then on Monday, we have something called Marathon Monday, So we bring all of the merchandise there so you can buy your race shirts and everything else, or your finisher gear. You can stretch if you need to stretch like I was doing today. After my run, there's a stretching area. You can get the New York Times newspaper that lists the names of all of the finishers in there. So it's a great location to complete your journey and experience with the marathon. Next slide. So I talked briefly about the partners that we have that are engaged with us from a nonprofit and charitable component again. So that lists there all of the different partners that are there, the money that's raised. We collected 1 million pounds of clothing that is left off at the start line since our relationship with Goodwill. So over the last several years, all cumulatively, all collected, has reached about 1 million pounds of clothing. And what happens is they take the clothes, they recycle and clean it, and it's available to the community to help people that don't have. So you know how sometimes runners will show up with something just to stay at the start line, and then they take it off and they have their run gear. That stuff gets collected there. But we also work with donation centers that pick up for food, leftover water, and give that back to the community again. We work with partnerships and groups to give shoes to children. So we're able to give sneakers and shoes to children in the community, and also helping to build and open up parks all in the city as well, and refurbish parks in the city as well. So those are just a number of the partners that we work with there. Last but not least, thank you very much. Again, it's a photo from the marathon and everyone together there waving and cheering and saying hello and saying thank you. I'm saying thank you very much for allowing me an opportunity to share the marathon experience and hopefully answer a couple of questions for you.
Okay, thank you, Ted. But before we continue, let's take a 1-minute break. Buat teman-teman yang menonton langsung di aplikasi, teman-teman bisa langsung beli produk yang bisa mendukung aktivitas lari kamu langsung di product window. Caranya gampang, tinggal klik product window di bawah teman-teman, bisa langsung beli barang-barang menarik tersebut. Dan teman-teman yang nonton di aplikasi juga bisa dapetin beragam voucher menarik dari Bukalapak, tinggal klaim vouchernya di atas. Let's have a look the break.
Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak, kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan. Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Serunya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak, kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan.
Welcome back everyone. Jadi sebelum kita masukin ke sesi Q&A, bila ada yang ingin ditanyakan dari teman-teman semuanya, silahkan tulis di kolom ini. Bagi 5 orang yang beruntung yang pertanyaannya dibacakan oleh saya dan sudah mendapatkan ID-nya di Bukalapak, akan mendapatkan voucher kredit sebesar Rp250.000. Oke, Ted. That's is a very interesting story that you share. But I am wondering, I mean, like we all know that New York City is a city that never sleeps, and hustle and bustle. But how did New York road runners, I mean, like educate all the New York residents about the big event? Because I know it is not easy to manage such an event in such a big city like New York City.
Absolutely, absolutely. So to answer your question, Reina, it started over an extended period of time. As I mentioned before, the marathon started with 55 finishers in the early 1970s. So it took many years for us to get to the race being as big as it is. But like I mentioned to you before, it started as a baby and grew. And it grows and grows not only as the individual event, but the community grew with it. So you have to have engagement and buy-in and connection to the marathon. So when Fred Lebow wanted the race to go from being inside of the park to running through all 5 boroughs, he had to connect and talk to all of the different communities throughout the city to have them be a part of the marathon. He needed to explain what the marathon was, who's coming in, why do this, why be engaged. And this was during a time when New York City was going through a very rough time and wanted to do something to bring people back together again. So the marathon started there. There are communities in the city, there are volunteers in the city that have been a part of the marathon since they were babies, cheering, handing out water, volunteering, spectating, running, that have been a part of the race their entire lives. But it started small with engagement on a local level with the community, the towns, the cities, the boroughs, the different groups, and have them be a part of the marathon. And as that grew, the marathon grew with it.
Okay, that's yeah. I mean, like it's not a small job, but I mean, like you're right. I mean, like you really take your time. I mean, like from the baby until become an adult right now. So I have run your marathon in 2015. For me, it's quite like a very a unique experience because we all know that New York is a the skyscraper building, but I enjoy so much the cheering, the view from Staten Island to Chelsea and other boroughs. The view are just so spectacular. So how is the New York Marathon different from other marathons, and what makes it so special?
That's a great question, Rena. I've been to a number of marathons myself. Obviously, I've only run 2, but I've ran many half marathons, and some of the half marathons have marathons that are attached to it. What makes New York unique and special are, I think, 2 things. One, the New Yorkers, the people that come out and open up the streets, that open up their arms to welcome the world to run. And 2, the people that come and run the race. When you're talking about so many people from all over the world, all types of abilities, all types of experiences, they all come together to run. And it parallels with what this city is. Very diverse, very big, very beautiful, tall, short, wide, thin, all of that makes New York the city, makes New York the people, and it brings our runners together. I ran, again, like I said, twice, and even working the marathon, even when I'm in the car and I'm driving before everybody and I see everybody there, I still feel the energy that I felt when I ran the race, where people are there and they don't know you, but they're cheering you on. And if your name is on your shirt and they see you, you're gonna have hundreds and hundreds of people saying, Rena, 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 go Rena, go Rena. So that energy is amazing, and it's all over the city, and it goes. But like I said, it started very, very small, telling people about the race and getting them engaged and getting them connected. And then they came out and ran the race. There's nothing I can tell you that can prepare you for that kind of energy if you come and run their event. But if you talk to somebody that has ran the race, that has participated or been engaged with the race, they know what that energy is.
Mm-hmm. And then, I certainly I get that, that energy also from the beginning until the finish line. So, I mean, like, how does the marathon impact the New York resident? And I mean, like, how do they still learn to appreciate the event? Because during the race, that everything is close, right? I mean, like from Manhattan to Chelsea to from one state to another state.
Yeah. So what is interesting? So it's 2 pieces there. There is impact to the city. Fortunately, the race has been going on for so long, and there's a level of consistency. So they know the first Sunday of November is marathon weekend, and everyone's going to be here, and there's all kinds of planning there tied to the marathon. For the residents here, like myself, I live here in New York City. I live and work and commute here. The routes of the marathon is very much displayed and shared for everyone in the city. So they know not only where the runners are going, but how I can navigate around just to the course to avoid the race or get from one location to the other. So one thing we do is we make sure that everyone is aware that the marathon is happening. It's interesting where I will see billboards and pictures and ads if you're traveling around the city of all of the logos and everything leading into it. And I'm like, I sometimes I go, why is this all up? The marathon is full. That everyone is already registered. Why put up a sign? You're training already. You're going to run. But it's not for the runners. It's for the community to be aware that the race is coming. So the city has embraced the marathon because it brings people into the city. It brings people to the experience of it. They obviously a big thing is the economic benefit. You know, just like tourism. If I travel to Jakarta or if I went to Bali and I traveled there. Yeah, I went to Bali in the end of last year, and it was an incredible experience to go and see that. And you're welcomed. People want you to come. They want you to see, and they want you to eat and drink and experience your city, your town, your state. So we welcome that as well as New Yorkers because it's a great experience. It benefits the city from a marketing, partnership, financial level as well.
So teman-teman Indonesian Runners, kita dengar sendiri dari Ted bahwa dan teman-teman yang sudah pernah berlari di maraton New York City, jadi jangan pernah nervous boleh, tapi jangan pernah takut karena kalian akan mendapatkan special experience yang sangat luar biasa yang tentunya kalian akan ingat seumur hidup ya. And then Ted, I attended the New York Marathon race week last year in 2019. And I can say that it was a very special experience from the grand ceremony to the post celebration. How do you manage to organize all of this? I mean, like, I can say that you have a not one event, but like from event to another for 4 days. I mean, like, you know, that's really amazing.
Yeah, it's funny. I appreciate you mentioning that because I just wanted to make a note because I almost forgot about some of the focused on the big thing that I'm not thinking about all of the things that lead into it. Serena, the best way for me to describe that would be a similar personal experience that you can have. So, for example, if it is the birth of a child and you have a celebration, you have a gathering, sometimes there's a baptism or some sort of religious engagement. So there's usually a couple of steps before the bigger thing, right? So, or at a wedding, when you get married, they'll have something small for the family, something, you know, a pre-wedding activity. Then there's the wedding, and then there's the party afterward. And then sometimes they'll have a breakfast in the morning to say thank you to everybody, you see? So those are the correlations that are there. So the marathon follows in that same type of a mode where there are activities leading to the big activity. One is, as you mentioned, the marathon opening ceremony. So it is a huge celebration where all the different participants from all over the world and all over the country come together and celebrate the marathon, celebrate their culture, celebrate the beauty of what makes the race great. Flags and wearing traditional clothing, and they're out there singing and music. So it's almost like the Olympic opening ceremony, but that happens with the marathon, and everyone's there together to see that. That's part of the celebration, and there's a team that works on that experience. One other thing too is the Dash to the Finish 5K race that happened Saturday. So many years ago, that race used to be called the International Friendship Run, many, many, many years ago. And it started at the UN, at the United Nations, and it wasn't a race, it was more of a march. And then it came into the Central Park. This is about 10, 12 years ago when it was really, really big, and then they turned it into a race, into a 5K race, starting at the UN and running and finishing at the finish line of the TCS New York City Marathon. And that race is huge. There's over 10,000 runners that are there running, and people are engaged and participating from, again, all over the world, part of the experience. You know, then when you're watching it on TV, You could see the opening of the marathon, the presentation of the professional runners. There are helicopters going across. There's boats in the water shooting water out in the rivers. So that's when the city engages with a larger experience there. The marathon happens. All of the energy tied to the marathon continues. You can watch it online. You can watch it on television. And then on Monday, as I mentioned, we have Marathon Monday in Central Park, just like if you had a breakfast, a goodbye breakfast after a wedding, where people come in, they celebrate, they take some pictures, they document, they get some, they can get their finisher gear if they want, and then they head home with a smile. There are teams that work on all of these different parts of the entire marathon experience there. So it's, you know, it's a lot. So you can't have one person doing everything. You have to have a lot of people managing different pieces.
Did you sleep during the race week?
Very little, very little. Fortunately, I have a very talented team that works there that are very committed. So we make sure it balances out well.
Okay. Ted, now it's time for us to pick up some questions from the runners who join us here today. Teman-teman, jangan lupa sebelum memberikan pertanyaan, daftarkan nama kalian di Bukalapak. Dengan mempunyai ID Bukalapak, dapatkan kesempatan meraih ke voucher Rp250.000 setiap vouchernya. So Ted, I will go to the first question from George Estencana. First of all, he said that, hey Ted, I'm in Bali. Please come again whenever you're free.
I would love to. I would love to. It was Thank you.
George has a question like, Ted, I want to ask you one question. What the differences in New York City Marathon with other world marathon major like London, Boston, or Chicago, or Berlin, or Tokyo? Can you share with us a few main uniqueness of New York City Marathon? Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I've been fortunate I've been to Boston, Chicago, London, New York. I have not been to Berlin yet, and I have not been to Tokyo yet. All of the marathon majors obviously have their unique essence to them. They're all big. They are all international, all embracing. They all show you a taste of their city. So depending on wherever the market that you decide to run in or what race you decide to go to, you get the true essence of that city. The one difference I have to say between New York and everybody else is that we're the biggest.
Well, that's true anyway.
We are the but it's amazing. I went to London last year and that race was incredible. Again, very similar to New York. Lots of crowds, lots of energy, lots of people, big race. But what was interesting is that race has a lot of similarities too, because it's a point-to-point, which means you have to take a bus or transport to the start and then you make your way there. Same thing with Boston. Chicago is different because the starts and finish are very close. Tokyo, there's a little bit of travel. Berlin, there's a little bit of travel, but though I know, having been there myself, that Boston, London, and New York have a very similar comparison where they're point-to-point events where they run the distance coming in. Different races bring in, so London is, while it is an international event, it isn't as big as we are with the larger number of people coming in from overseas. Almost 50% of our runners are from overseas. So all the races differ in that capacity there as well. Boston is unique because that is a qualifying race. So you have to run a particular speed, a particular pace to be able to qualify to run in Boston. So that's one of the unique elements there. But each of the events have a special thing to it. Again, I like to use examples. It would be like one day I want to have traditional Balinese food. One day I want to have French food. One day I want to have Spanish food. Same experience with the races. The races have a certain flavor and a certain element to them that make them unique because of the cities that they're in.
Oke, George, udah ditanya ya, udah dijawab ya pertanyaannya sama Ted. So we go for the second question from Kenny Tan. Kenny Tan is one of the serious runner in Indonesia. He is very focusing with this program. And here's the question, Ted. Do they have a specified timing to start in Pen A for New York City Marathon?
Yes. There is a time qualifier to run in the earlier corral paces for the faster runners. I don't have the timing in front of me here, so please forgive me. But if you go onto the marathon website and look at the timing section, it will list to you what your qualifying time is to be seated in the earlier pens. But there is a qualifying time, and then it tells you what you need to provide to qualify in those specific pens there for the corrals.
Jadi Mas Kenny siap-siap ya, mesti lari lebih kencang kalau mau lari di pen A itu. And then for the next question from Firi NST, Ted, do you recommend this event for someone who is just trying to get their virgin full marathon, or shall they at least have one experience in another marathon in a smaller event?
That's a really, really good question. I will answer to you honestly. My first marathon was the New York City Marathon. Now, granted, I had experience knowing what it was, but it was totally different running it. And I'm so happy that I did. What I would recommend is definitely train and be physically prepared to do it and follow all of the training protocols and guidance to get yourself physically strong. But absolutely, if you're gonna do it, do the best, experience the best. The great thing too is you'll see when you're out there running that there's all types of runners with all types of abilities. Some people who have ran their very first marathon, some people that have ran their 100th marathon. You have all the experiences that are out there. So yes, if you can get in to run New York, I definitely recommend that as a first-time race. It would be a tremendous experience. With that, definitely the training and preparation and opportunities like this to talk and learn about some of the things to do, register for the shows, so you don't have to worry about the bags, know when day to go to the expo, to avoid the big crowds if you don't want to avoid big crowds. When you're meeting your family and friends, where to meet your family and friends, letting them know, using the app. That is very, very helpful. There's a marathon app that gives you all the information about timing and transportation and how to get around, but not only for you, but also for spectators. So I can track Raina when she's running and see where she's going, and it tells me what train or bus to take to get from location to location to see her along the course.
Udah dijawab ya Mbak ya, itu jadi boleh langsung aja daftar di New York Marathon kalau mau ikutan yang virginnya, jangan khawatir. And then the next one is from Gusti Ngurah Krishna Wirayuda. Ted, what a big issue of New York Marathon and a specific obstacle of race, then we will prepare to prevent it if I will attend of this event. Thank you.
Yes, I think I mentioned it before. As far as I wouldn't call it an obstacle per se. It is, well, actually now I think about it, it's two things. One, timing. You want to time as best you can your travel to the start of the race. You want to be as prepared as possible. So when you talk to runners and people that run many races, they tell you want to keep a routine. You want to have a good system about what you do, the time you run, what you eat, what you drink. You want to stay consistent. You don't want to do anything that's different. You want to know about the different, there's Gatorade that we use here, which is the drink that we have and the water that we have. You want to prepare yourself. You want to look at the maps and see where all the water stations are along the course, how far apart. There's a water station every mile. So you want to be prepared as best as possible and have as much knowledge as far as what the journey will be before you even get there. It would be just like if you're going to the airport or to the bus station or something, or to travel somewhere, you want to give yourself enough time to get there comfortably. you want to have looked to see, oh, it's going to take me this long to get there, and here's what I need to do to get there. So you want to be as prepared as possible on the getting to the race and knowing what the race experience will be. Another obstacle, if I would call it an obstacle, as I mentioned earlier, are hills. It is a hilly course, not a very hilly course, but there are hills on the course. So if you go, as I mentioned before, to the marathon website and you look at the map of the course, it will show you what the topography is, where it's hilly, where it's flat. So you want to look at that as well, and you want to train where you can to get yourself ready to go where there's different hills in your training, so you're prepared for the race.
And for the last question, for the next, this is from, I think this is represent from all of us. That this is from De Viero. Will New York City Marathon 2020 be postponed or canceled, or still go as planned? If it's postponed, does this year participant will automatically use the ballot for next year? Wow, this is all the question that we all we would like to ask to you.
Everybody's asking that question, and Raina, you know who else is asking that question? Me. I'm asking that question. So this is a very serious question, and this is good to ask too, because I know, Raina, you told me when we were talking before that today Indonesia is starting to open up again because of COVID. You know, we had to stay closed for a while, and different cities, states, and countries have a phase reopening. You know, first phase this, second phase this, and then it moves on. We are planning accordingly, as if the marathon is going to happen. Okay, we are working very, very closely with city, state, and government to see where we are in the status of being able to not only have the marathon, but where the city is going to be open to have activities happen again. As many of you might have seen in the news or reading in the paper or online, New York was very, very, very hard hit with COVID, and it affected us very bad here in the United States. So it's been a slow process for us to open. We haven't opened yet. We haven't started phase 1 yet for New York. So we are planning to have the marathon, but we are also working with the city, state, and government to see if there's resources that are available to us to safely have the marathon. If the marathon doesn't happen, everyone will know, you, me, and all of our participants and partners will know many, many months in advance, or as early as we can, because that's the thing we have to do. I know you've seen with Berlin, they had to cancel their race, and their race is in September. You see in Boston, they had to cancel and postpone the race and cancel and go virtual, early, so that way people can be prepared accordingly. We would like to follow the same suit, but right now we're planning accordingly as if the marathon is going to happen. We are working with our city, state, and government officials to ensure that we can have the event. If the event doesn't happen, there will be a lot of information provided to all of our runners on deferment. So being able to go from 2020 to 2021, any other cancellation communication as far as what your options are. One other big reason why we want to communicate this early, Raina, is because we have people coming in from all over the world to come run the race. The earlier they know, the earlier they can prepare. You know, it's not like me, I could take the train or the bus or the ferry to the start. There are people flying from all over the world. So we're working very hard to try to get that information out to as many people as possible, but there's a lot of coordination that's involved in that. But right now, my team, myself, are all planning accordingly.
Okay, yeah, I think we all having the same problem right now in, I think, not only New York, but any races in the world. So yeah, for the time being, we just wait and see, right, Ted?
Yes,
and,
yeah.
And hope that things get better and better, and soon we can go back to not the new normal, but just normal.
Yes, absolutely. We will do everything we can to keep everybody aware of what the next steps are going to be.
Ted, I have the last question. that this is from Muhammad Bahru. Hi Ted, I'm Sandy. Let me know about, can we just walk for the New York City Marathon for any injury that has to us? Just, I mean, like he's asking if he can just continue the race if he get a injury during the race. So what is the cut-off time of your race?
So it is a 8-hour cutoff. Okay. That means, so to answer your question, if you're running and there's an injury, one, there is a medical station at every mile. You can stop in to get checked if you need to. If you can continue moving on, we like it to be at minimum about 15-minute per mile pace is what you can walk or run to. An 8-hour course minimum to stay open. But that means that if you're there past 8 hours, we ask all the runners to get onto the sidewalk and off of the street, understand? So they can continue going there. But you can, if you are walking or moving or have an injury or so you don't DNF, you can't continue going on. But what will happen is there will be a point where the runners are going to be asked to come from the street onto the sidewalk to continue on to the finish line.
So teman-teman gak usah khawatir karena New York Marathon sangat friendly untuk kita semua bahwa kita boleh menyelesaikan satu race tersebut di dalam waktu 8 jam. Jadi gak usah khawatir, tapi tetap harus latihan ya. Karena dengar sendiri bahwa course-nya nggak mudah, hilly, tapi experience-nya sangat luar biasa. Ted, this is I think to close our session tonight. Due to our limit time, unanswered question will be replied by email. Karena waktu kita yang terbatas, teman-teman, pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang tidak sempat terjawab malam ini akan dijawab lewat email. But thank you so much, Ted, for your support to all Indonesian runners here. We appreciate it so much. I really hope the best for upcoming New York Marathon. I mean, like we all miss it, the adrenaline and the excitement before the race.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Likewise. Thank you, Reina. Thank you, everyone, so very much for having me. Again, we appreciate the prayers, the good energy here on very many levels. Obviously, there's a lot going on here in the country with COVID and everything else that's happening with the civil unrest that we have here. So all the positive energy we will accept. And we thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you and share with you.
But before we close our Zoom meeting tonight, as a representative of New York Road Runners, do you have any tips and tricks to the running community here in Indonesia? Because here in Indonesia, specifically in Jakarta, we have so many running community.
So it's a great thing. So is this specific to running? Is this the question?
Yeah.
So Reina, I've been to Bali, I've been to Singapore, and I've been to Thailand. So I know how hot it is. I even went out one day very early in the morning to run, and it was still very to answer your question, community is everything. And having a community of runners is great because then you are sharing all of the same information and staying engaged. So my recommendation is obviously monitor and pay attention to all of the information that's being posted on New York Road Runners website, New York Road Runners and the Marathon website in particular, and share that information with your community because that's going to be the best part there so everyone can communicate with one voice. But again, train, prepare, monitor all of the communication that we're providing and communicate that amongst yourselves as a team.
Oke, teman-teman, kita sudah pada akhir acara. Saya Rina Tambunan sebagai host malam ini mengucapkan banyak terima kasih kepada semua peserta. Tapi sebelumnya saya meminta maaf karena seharusnya ada 2 pembicara malam ini, tapi karena dikarenakan ada technical error, jadi yang bersama kita malam ini cuma 1 orang saja. Untuk pengumuman pemenang malam ini, saya akan bacakan. Yang pertama adalah Firi NST, lalu kedua ada Gustin KW, 3 ada George S. Kencana, 4 ada Kenitan, dan yang kelima Oh, cuma 4 ya Mbak ya? Oke, then we close. Juga saya banyak mengucapkan banyak terima kasih kepada para sponsor, Bukalapak bikin asik aja, Tribun IO, Warta Kota, Suka Outdoor, MyLabs, Virtuathon, Runhood, Riot, dan seluruh komunitas lari di Indonesia. Ted, do you have something to say before we close the Zoom meeting?
Again, I cannot thank you enough. Stay safe. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of the running community worldwide. Thank you.
Oke, teman-teman, sampai bertemu di sesi selanjutnya. Siap-siap untuk daftar di sesi selanjutnya. Kenapa? Karena kita akan mengetahui bagaimana standar of procedure atau berlari setelah pandemi. Kita akan berbicara langsung dengan Presiden Direktur World Athletics Dr. Paulo Emilio dari bagian Medical Health and Science. Selamat malam dan stay safe. Tetap saling support satu sama lainnya. Apapun komunitasnya, in sport we are one. Dan juga media partners kami adalah Tribun News, Super Bowl, Warta Kota, Riot, Runhood, dan Virtuathon. Terima kasih. Thank you, Ted. See you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Kenalin, SIP, simbol semangat baru Bukalapak. Seluruhnya belanja ini itu bukan cuma angan-angan. Asiknya bisa hidup nyaman. Usaha jadi kuat, bebas pikiran. Dan bareng Bukalapak kita bisa bikin semua jadi kenyataan.